they do at home. And we obviously made some critical mistakes that kept that a pretty close game at half. I mean, a lot of the numbers were drastically different, but obviously the missed exchange there that led to a touchdown, the kind of whatever you want to call it, the kind of fake punt that was, I don't really know how to describe that, but it found its way into one of their receivers' hands. I mean, those are two huge possessions, I think, where we really had a chance to separate in the first half. And were some uncharacteristic mistakes by us. Didn't play very good offensively in the red zone, but I thought we stepped up in a tough environment there at the very end and played probably our best ball in the fourth quarter, which that's what you got to do. Certainly wasn't our cleanest performance. We know we're going to have to get a lot better. We know there's a lot of things to learn from, and I think this team will do that and look forward to our next road challenge.
Lincoln, when you look at those kind of mistakes, especially the penalties in the first quarter, and then talking about just some of those kind of errors, are those things you more attribute to preparation or just kind of the road atmosphere in general? Not both. I mean, you get on the road and everything's just magnified a little bit, and we were just a little tick off, especially, offensively in terms of just kind of, moving. Play clock got down on us a lot, and we did not handle that well, so we'll have to do a better job preparing the guys for that. And then, we had a couple of untimely penalties defensively that really put them out of, some of the holes that we were putting them in because we were getting so many negative plays. And so, got to be better there. I mean, listen, road is challenging. There's a reason why 70% of the time the home team wins in college football, and it's been like that forever and ever. And so we know we're going to have to get better at it with many more road challenges ahead.
Lincoln, with the way Marshawn was running, I think he averaged like 11 yards per carry on 14 carries. Was there a thought to getting him more involved in the game?
Yeah, I mean, we rode him pretty hard. Didn't run the other guys quite as much. So, yeah, I mean, he got dinged up there for a minute, came back, but we rode him pretty hard. Probably we ended up hitting some kind of big plays in the pass game that shortened some of those drives there at the end. But yeah, I mean, as good as he was running, you could argue that we probably should have given it to him more.
Did you come out of this with any specific concerns defensively, and what do you attribute the tackling?
Yeah, that was the biggest. The tackling was the biggest disappointment. We had a lot of negative plays. We were on the night pretty clean on the run game in terms of like gap assignment, but we did not tackle them well. And we knew the back coming in was a tough runner. I mean, he's a good runner. He runs out a lot of tackles, and I saw a lot of shoulders, a lot of guys kind of launching at guys, trying for big hits, and fundamentally wasn't where we needed to be. So that'll be a big focus point. But is it correctable for sure? We tackled well 3 of the 4, and we need to get back at it here this week.
Coach, you mentioned working on the penalties the last couple of weeks, double-digit penalties tonight. What do you attribute that to?
Shitty coaching.
Jamil, what was your assessment of the defense and the pass rush, particularly, when you guys were able to injure yours back?
Like you said, we could have did a much better job tackling. Myself as well, I could have done a better job of just taking my gap instead of just giving them so much leeway of being able to block me on some plays. And I think we can be better across the board, like Coach Riley said. But I mean, finishing the game, we live on a mantra. The longer we go, the better we get. Me as a leader and some of the other guys, we just preached on finishing the game. And obviously on the defensive side of the ball, that starts with us up front. So we just had to take pride in that.
Caleb,
Coach Riley just mentioned those deep, big plays in the passing game. It seems like you've been pretty effective on those most of the season. What kind of off-season work went into making sure that deep passing game was going to be effective early this season?
Yeah, I for sure worked on it. There's things that you go back, and I said multiple times throughout the summer, spring, or whenever we're doing interviews and things like that, is that I need to work on everything. Coach was saying I need to work on everything. I thought I was pretty efficient last year, but this year, big plays, when you have those moments and you have those big plays that come up, you want to be able to execute and capitalize on those moments. And so we've been able to do that so far. And, within the game and, when those moments happen, we've been able to do so. So I for sure worked on it with the guys, and it just becomes with consistency. It's something that I've been saying and preaching, and something that we weren't so good on today, whether it was myself getting the calls in, making checks, whether it was us doing our assignment, whether it was penalties and holdings or jumping off sides or not catching the ball, whatever the case may be, all leads to the leaders and us being consistent throughout the week. And I'm one of those guys, and so I'm going to be preaching that and trying to be consistent, especially throughout this week. But yeah.
Caleb, Brendan has 5 touchdowns this season. How has your trust and connection with him grown from last year?
Yeah, it's gotten better. Just trying to understand Brendan. Love Brendan. He's an interesting kid. But no, it's gotten better, and a lot of it's come from just being around him more, throwing to him after practice, whatever the case may be, hanging out with him a little bit more, out of practice, and just being around each other has made that connection that y'all speak on a lot better, and so we're going to keep working on it, and we got other guys who's going to step up here soon and keep making big plays.
You guys got the win on the road, and it's obviously the #1 goal, but does it kind of feel like maybe the team took a step back in its development with the penalties and the poor tackling?
No, I mean the season's just a climb. I mean that's you tell people all the time like this whole road deal and what it's about, and I mean look at Florida State the other day. You know what I mean? There's examples every year all the time. I mean it was just simply a new challenge, and I think what we'll take from it is there's a lot of really positive things we did to come out here and win, despite a lot of those mistakes, and there's a lot of those mistakes that I think we'll take a lot from and be better ahead. But that's a season, right? You're never just going to be like this, like every single performance. Like, I mean, how are you going to go on top, being up 49-3 at half the previous week? Like that's not reality. Like it's just the challenges continue to change, and then you either respond and keep growing together as a team and getting better and winning along the way, or you don't. We won. We did a lot of good things. We got a lot to get better at, and we got to get ready for another tough road one next week.
In your opinion, how much did play calling change with Kenny Dillingham as the main play caller?
A little bit. It definitely did. I mean, Kenny's an experienced play caller. Then, I mean, listen, you could tell very quickly that I said it through the week, like, even if you have injuries at the quarterback position, if you know who you're going to play with and you've got a full week with good coaches, like you're going to have a better plan than all of a sudden if you lose 2 guys right at the first of the game. Like that's even a bad offensive coach is going to have a way better plan, and Kenny's a tremendous offensive coach. So we knew we were going to see a different atmosphere, a different team, a different challenge. Like we weren't surprised by that, and they did a good job with it, and they threw a little bit of everything at us, and some of it we handled well, and some of it we need to handle better.
Caleb, it seems like when the
playing in the state of Arizona.
It was great. I played in Arizona last year, so came out with the win both times. Been in Arizona. It's been fun, and plan on getting ready for next week.
Caleb, it seemed like when you guys got the play in, especially early in the game, it was working well, but it was pre-snap something was happening there. It's like you couldn't get the snap on time or whatever was going on. Like what was going on kind of pre-snap with the offense today?
Yeah, it's something that we practice probably more than anybody in the country, which is just a tough environment, and that's what Arizona State provided this night. And they did a really good job on defense. They did a really good job with the crowd. They were loud and rowdy, and it's our first road game. There's going to be things that happen on road games that doesn't happen at home games, and those are some of the things that happen. And I'm glad we came out to win. We kept fighting. We responded to all the events that happened throughout the week or throughout the game. I mean, and we got things to get better at. That's just simply what it is. It's game 4 for us, coming off a bye week. We got a tough opponent next week, so we got to get better. We're going the road again, and there's a good thing we have film to go back and look at and keep working on.
Let's do one more.
Caleb, going back to the state of Arizona thing, just your dad was obviously quoted in GQ saying that if a team like the Cardinals was going to have the #1 pick, that you might decide to come back to school. Would you indeed come back to school if the Cardinals have the #1 pick?
Yeah, I got 8 games left. Those are the 8 guaranteed that I have, and then we're working on the next 3. And we got a tough opponent, and first Colorado this week coming up. So thank you, everybody. Fight on.